Hey folks, it's Tommy Z in the place to be, and you're driving with me unsafely. I'm going to visit Boombox Sound, which is a studio that specializes in making music for brands inside of an industry that most musicians never heard of. And I'm going to talk to a couple of young folks over there who work there full time and ask them a few questions that hopefully are of value for you to listen in on. All right, so let's go to Boombox. Peace. So here we are, folks, in the lobby of an undescript building, downtown Toronto. Little do most musicians that walk by this building know that there's a studio on the fourth floor here that hires freelance musicians to create music from scratch for the biggest brands in the world and their campaigns. Nice ceiling. Dig it. Okay, so I once read a book by the title, or with the title, Always Take the Stairs. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so tell me your name and what you do.
My name's Kara McKinley, and I'm the head engineer and sound designer here at Boombox Sound.
Tell me what your average day looks like. I know there is no average day.
I was going to say, that is kind of the beauty of this job. Every day is different, truly, which honestly I love. I just love having something new to do every day. I kind of split it up into two sections of pre-production days and then session days. So pre-production days, like for example, a day like today, I'm just doing work to prepare for the session. So whether it's sound designing something or working on original music for the spot, or say like recording some Foley that maybe we don't have in our sound effects library. Pre-production looks different for every project. And then session days is, when the clients all come in and typically we'll record the voiceover on whatever project we're working on and then do the final sound design and mix. And there's definitely a difference in vibe where pre-production days I'm kind of working by myself a bit more, just kind of like go, getting it done. And then session days are much more collaborative and, everyone kind of has input on everything. So yeah, it's kind of nice to have that balance, I've actually been in that scenario before where, I've kind of explained it to musicians or people who I know or I think would be well suited for, writing music for ads or even like doing sound design and mixing. I would describe it because it is very unique. It's not the same as, just writing a song, just the fact of working with picture. And it's different, I'd say, even than writing for like a long format project. Just the fact that it's, say, like 30 seconds to find all the moments that you need musically to match the picture and just what the client wants to capture is very different than writing, say, like a soundtrack to like a long format piece of art. It's once you learn the process of writing specifically to picture, then as long as you're a composer and producer, like you're pretty much set. I think that's the biggest hurdle, I would say, is like getting used to writing to picture and like being able to, capture the moments that line up with the picture. How we operate at Boombox is, we outsource a lot of composers. So we are always looking for new people who we think would fit well to write on each project.
I'm just gonna cut in here for a sec. Did you hear what Kara just said? That Boombox, just like every other music production company in this space, will hire freelance musicians just like you sitting in their home studio to create original music for these brand campaigns, commercials, and content. If you want to learn more about this business, I run a free live workshop every other Thursday. So you can join me there, learn more about this hidden path that most musicians don't know about, ask me questions about it. And hey, you never know, it just might be the opportunity that you didn't even know existed for your music career at a time when it's really difficult to make a living with music. The link is below. Back to the video.
Yeah, we're always looking, for new people to kind of broaden our horizons in that sense. So I think whatever's popular and big in the music industry and just media-wise right now is like a good skill to have. So a lot of pop, a lot of hip-hop, rap, but something that even we really gravitate towards is just good sound selection. So just, the quality of either the instruments or samples you're using. That's kind of priority on our end because, yes, we do like treat each song with a specific mix. So, but yeah, I'd say like the sound selection is very important, just the quality. the fact that each day is different, that I can take a different approach to each project. You know, it's not robotic where I'm doing the same thing every day and the same formula. I start from scratch, you know, every time. And obviously, yeah, there are like certain things that I know will work, so I will reuse like certain methods, but I try to go into it with the mindset of like, okay, this is a new project, so let's just like try something new. So yeah, I think that's my favorite part. Honestly, I mean, knock on wood, I don't think so. Yeah, it definitely was a little fear-mongering there for a while when everyone was like, oh my gosh, AI's gonna take over. But I think it's kind of died down a little bit where we've kind of, you know, saw the effects of it, where it's like, yes, it has changed some things. It's kind of made some things easier, which is nice. But evidently, like, it hasn't taken over. Like, we're still, I'd say, essential to the process. Overall, for my personal experience, it has been helpful where certain tools I'll use that maybe I wasn't a thing before, specifically with dialogue cleanup. Like, certain programs will run it through, say if the dialogue is recorded not very well, we can run it through and it kind of reconstructs it and makes into something new. So that has been super helpful, like just making our work better. But yeah, it hasn't really affected us that much. And I mean, we're kind of all the same mindset here. Maybe it's just because we love working with analog gear and have access to it, but we're all a bit anti-AI, you know? Like, yes, we do appreciate it for the things that it can help with, but like, obviously, we try to avoid it, and just for ethical reasons as well, you know? That's a great question, because I've been in that exact same position where from the very beginning of, okay, how do I even get into a career like this, to the part where, okay, I've done the schooling, I've done all the preparation I can do, but will anyone even hire me, or will I even be able to succeed? I've been in both those scenarios. Obviously, it can be done without education. You can be self-taught, but I strongly recommend education just to have that extra support and kind of guide you in the right direction. And not only the knowledge, but the connections that you'll make if you go to, you know, an audio school or a school for music production. That can be a huge help of just kind of jump starting your career. So yeah, that'd be my first recommendation. And then second, you know, once you've already completed your education and you're kind of at that point where you're like, okay, now what? For me, from my experience, I like really doubted myself when I was in that stage. Also for the fact that, you know, I was like 18 years old, a young woman going into the audio industry, and I was freaking out a little bit just in this fact of like, okay, what the heck do I do now? Where do I go from here? And, you know, one of my mentors at the school kind of helped me because I expressed this to him, and he's like, don't worry, like, don't, you can't be worrying about that. You have to just try it first, like, put that in the back of your mind. And plus, he said, if you can, like, use it to your advantage, you know, like some companies might be looking specifically for women engineers, like try and use it to your advantage when you can. And that did happen. I worked for a job at Spotify where they were only accepting women engineers, so, you know, you never know, like, what opportunity will arise. But yeah, I think just, like, don't let your fears and insecurities maybe get to you, and just kind of keep pushing forward, whether it's making more connections, reaching out to people who you might be interested in working with, keeping up your skills, you know, work on things that you might want to improve on. And yeah, I'd say connections is kind of the main thing of getting your career rolling.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for interviewing me.
My name is Joaquin Clunie. I work at Boombox, sound engineering, voice recording, mixing, music composition. We pretty much have two kinds of days. We'll have a voice record, like a session. That's usually 10 to 5, I would say. That we have clients come in. We serve them food and whatnot. We have voice talent come in, and we record them, give it a little mix, and then present that to the client. They approve it. We mix it properly. We deliver. The other kind of day is production, where it's top to bottom. We are either lining up music edits or sound designing things or doing mixes or going over deliverables or on calls. So like music briefs and sound design briefs, things like that. There's a lot of great things. I think my favorite, I think the thing that's most important to me is, because I love music, was pretty much learning how to mix, even though it's advertisement, so it's different, and like the levels are different, the way things have to be mixed is very different, but you learn like very valuable things, and I think that it has made me a great mixer with music as well. Leveling is so important.
Leveling.
It
That
is the
means,
most
like,
important thing.
Deciding what's important.
Yes,
And what
you
isn't.
decide what's most important, and you don't need to do anything before everything is properly gain stage. You don't need to do anything. Don't even start thinking about EQ, compression, none of that.
Yeah.
It's like everything there's a world, in a perfect world, you just level everything and it's done. That's a good question. I'm gonna be corny and say networking, I guess.
Yeah.
But it really is like people. Like that's the most important thing, is the connections you're able to make. I started here as an intern, and I was just trying to soak everything up and trying to be a fly on the wall. And I think people actually notice when you feel like you're not being noticed. You actually are. Like people look for people who want to absorb things and can listen. And I think that's the most valuable skill of being, especially in sessions for ads. You have to listen to every word in the room while you're doing what you're doing. And I think when people see that, and they also see that you have creative vision and you have an appreciation for sound, you just need to make that known in a gentle way. That's which is very important. It's like you can't be too forceful about it. And you gotta be chill.
Yeah.
You can't have a crazy. AI could never do what I do, but that's me being optimistic. But it sounds. I feel like now that AI is becoming a thing, it's like there's more appreciation for the human things, like the humanity of a mix. Like AI would never do it in the way that me or my coworker Kara do it. So there's always going to be that
The chef.
yeah, the chef in the kitchen. Like you want to feel like it's made, right? Not generated. And when I see like an AI ad, it is so jarring, you know? And I feel like it's always going to be like that.
Anyone who's thinking of a life in music, in creative arts, what would you say to them?
You literally do it. That's kind of it. It's literally you just do it and then you don't stop. You don't stop. You cannot have a plan B. You can use stepping stones along the way and pick things up, and don't be so stubborn and don't be so scared. I work with an artist who I used to think this kid was crazy because there was no barrier and no thought that he was not going to be successful. And today he is. And I used to think he was crazy. And I look back at those moments, I'm like, damn, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
But you need to be the guy or the girl that people don't get.
Because it's almost like you're already living in that future.
Exactly.
You don't see it as like it's just what it is.
Yeah.
But others are like, but the reality doesn't actually like support that. But they're like, I don't live by the external reality.
Exactly. It's like, as corny as it is, manifestation.
Yeah.
And it's like if you really picture a version of your life that you want, it is possible. People do this. There is a massive music industry. I've had to tell my grandparents that it is practical. I swear it's practical. It can be practical. They still don't get it, even now.
Yeah.
Like I have a whole job and they still don't think it's a practical thing. But it is a massive industry and there's so many roles. And you just get into it and then you find what's right.
Yeah.
And you develop a wide skill set and you will do well.
Are you using all this stuff here? Like, are you actually putting the tracks through the gear? Because I see here a beautiful console. I see some nice outboard gear.
Yeah, I am. So
Do you
when
have
we,
like your own recipe or a way of doing things?
it's kind of the classic.
Yeah.
So, Neve preamp, I think these are 1081s, and it goes directly into a LA2A that we have on the outboard right there. And then it comes through here, it goes right into Pro Tools through our HDX setup, and then back out all these 2 tracks. And then it goes through a bus compressor at the top, SSL the Bus Plus, great compressor, Manly massive passive EQ. And then that's pretty much it. That's all we use right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we use every day
Yeah.
right now. But there's a bunch of really cool toys in here.
Yeah. Thanks for doing this, man.
Thanks, Tommy. Appreciate it, man.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to learn more about this hidden path, the link is below. We run a free live workshop every other Thursday. And if you want hands-on mentorship to break specifically into this very business, then we run a program called ARC, the Accelerator for Remarkable Craftspeople. The link for the application is below. It's not for everybody. That's why we ask you to apply. We check out your music. We figure out if you're ready for the program. And if you are, then we invite you in for a 12-week intensive cohort where you can work on your craft, build your portfolio, your website, and learn how to reach out to the industry so you can get your first paying project. All the links are below. Peace.